Indonesia is a major global greenhouse gas emitter due to deforestation, agricultural methods, and fossil fuel demand. In 2021, agricultural emission accounted for 60% of total emissions. The country's energy sector heavily relies on coal, causing 40.5% of its consumption. This reliance makes Indonesia more vulnerable to climate change risk, necessitating mitigation and adaptation strategies. Indonesia aims to improve its climate commitment. The Indonesia's second nationally determined contribution, or NDC, is a crucial step in global climate change efforts, aiming to reduce emissions and achieve the Paris Agreement 1.5 degrees Celsius target. The NDC set for submission in August 2024 target sectors like energy and agriculture, focusing on adaptation strategies for vulnerable communities. Indonesia's approach includes a justice perspective involving marginalized groups and aligned with national economic growth goals, demonstrating that climate action can be integrated with economic development. This presentation will examine how Indonesia's improved commitment to climate action via its second nationally determined contribution, especially considering the changing political environment. Indonesia's nationally determined contribution are a key tool for addressing climate change. The country's first NDC in 2016 aimed for a 26% reduction in greenhouse gas emission, with international support up to 41% by 2022. However, Indonesia's enhanced NDC in 2022 raised the target to 31.89% and 43.20% by 2030, highlighting its commitment to climate change while pursuing development objectives. The NDC focused on restoring peatlands and rehabilitating degraded lands, enhancing carbon sink, and preserving biodiversity. Indonesia faces challenges due to regulatory issues, reliance on fossil fuels, and a need for substantial financial and technological support. The indices emphasize the urgent need for climate action that align with national development objectives and foster international cooperation. Indonesia's second NDC aims to achieve the Paris Agreement 1.5 degrees Celsius global warming limit. The NDC submitted in August 2024 aims for 97% reduction in greenhouse gas emission by 2050, with net zero emission by 2060 or earlier. It includes new maritime and upstream oil and gas sectors, enhancing the accuracy of Indonesia's climate commitment. The NDC emphasized the importance of collaboration across all sectors and levels of government in achieving mitigation and adaptation strategies. Indonesia aligned its policies with international climate goals, contributing to global effort and establishing itself as a leader in climate action within Southeast Asia.
So the next is sectoral expansion and policy innovation influencing the political dynamics and climate policy. The critical integration of the marine sector and hydrofluorocarbon dioxide management within Indonesia's second nationally determined contribution, highlighting their significance in the country climate policy framework. Introduction the marine sector underscores Indonesia's recognition of its vast marine ecosystem, which play a vital role in carbon sequestration and climate resilience. By emphasizing the potential of blue carbon stored in coastal and marine ecosystem Indonesia to enhance conservation efforts and develop adaptation strategies that support environmental sustainability and local livelihoods. Indonesia in carbon capture technology and renewable energy plans are essential for Indonesia as it strives to achieve its ambitious net zero emission target by 2060. Indonesia has significant potential for CCS with estimated storage capacity ranging from 400 to 700 gigatons, allowing long-term carbon dioxide storage to support the country's energy transition while maintaining economic stability. The government has established regulatory frameworks to facilitate CCS implementation, including ministerial regulation (ESDM) and the formation of the Indonesia Carbon Capture and Storage Center (ICCSC) aims to position Indonesia as a regional hub for CCS technology. The transition from Jokowi and Prabowo administration Indonesia as a president had a significant shift in nation climate policy direction, particularly regarding sectoral expansion and policy innovation. Under Jokowi era, Indonesia committed to reduction greenhouse gas emission by 29% by 2030 with a conditional target of 41% with international support, emphasizing renewable energy and sustainable land management practice. In contrast with Prabowo administration approach raised concern about potential regression in climate commitments given his ties to the energy sector. His administration might prioritize economic growth through fossil fuel reliance and particularly coal. This tension between economic growth and objective and the climate action in Indonesia's economically determined contribution reflect a complex interplay of priorities that shapes the country's political dynamics and policy innovation. The dynamic play a crucial role in shaping Indonesia's climate negotiation on the global stage. Under President Joko Widodo era, Indonesia has adopted a more proactive stance, reflecting a growing political will to address climate change. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Natasha Al-Fajri. I will explain about implementation and opportunities. Indonesia has set ambitious target through its 2030 NDC to reduce greenhouse gas emission by 31.89% dependently and 43.20% with international support. However, there are major challenges to be faced. Energy sector reliance on coal, which still dominates 60% of electricity generation. Expensive renewable energy investment costs and often overlapping regulation are slowing down the energy transition. Forestry sector, there is still an economic dependence on palm oil and timber, as well as weak law enforcement that makes deforestation continue to occur. Social challenge, resistance from community and traditional industry to change, mainly due to lack of education and awareness about the importation of renewable energy. Solution required: provide education to the public, provide economic incentives such as subsidy for electric vehicle or renewable energy, encourage collaboration between the government, private sector and community, strengthen regulation and law enforcement in the energy and forestry sectors. If these challenges are overcome, Indonesia has a great opportunity to lead the energy transition in the South Asia region and set an example in dealing with global climate change.
Okay, I will present about the socio-economic impact. Indonesia's transition toward a low-carbon economy and transforming the country's economy with the renewable energy sector driving job creation. Solar, wind, and biomass energy investments stimulate economic growth and generate employment. Employment opportunities in manufacturing, installation, and maintenance. Policies promoting energy efficiency in buildings and infrastructure also contribute to job creation in the construction sector. However, traditional sector may experience job losses, necessitating retraining programs and addressing potential economic inequalities. Vulnerable population often lack the training and resources to enter the green job market, requiring equitable access to opportunities. To protect vulnerable communities, inclusive policy development, targeted training programs, social safety nets, and access to funding and resources are essential. Continuous monitoring and evaluation of the socio-economic impacts of the green transition of vulnerable population are necessary to adopt policies effectively. Addressing disparities in climate policies affect different social groups, particularly low-income households, marginalized and ethnic communities, and rural population. Inclusive policy design target financial support, education, awareness programs, and robust monitoring and evaluation mechanism can help create a more just framework that addressing climate change effectively and uplifts vulnerable population, ultimately leading to a more sustainable and inclusive future for all.
International implication. Indonesia is one of the countries with a significant commitment to addressing climate change through its Nationally Determined Contribution or NDC. Indonesia's NDC targets a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 29% through its own effort and up to 40% with international support by 2030. This commitment reflects Indonesia's responsibility in achieving the goals of the Paris Agreement. However, the implementation of this NDC impacts not only the national level but also in international level too, such as global cooperation, geopolitical strategies, and cross-sectoral policy integration. To ensure the effective implementation of the NDC, Indonesia requires support from various stakeholders through international collaboration, diplomatic strategies, and strengthening integrated domestic policies. Global cooperation in NDC implementation. The first one is low carbon technology transfer. Indonesia requires technology transfer from developed countries to effectively reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Technologies such as satellite-based forest management, renewable energy, and energy efficiency innovation are essential components in this effort. The next one is international funding for green projects. One of the main challenges in implementing the NDC is financing green projects. Indonesia actively utilizes international funding sources such as the Climate Investment Funds or CIF and Green Climate Fund or GCF to finance climate mitigation programs. And the last one is in Indonesia's climate diplomacy. Indonesia leveraged climate diplomacy as a tool to advance its interests on the international stage. Through forums such as COP or Conference of Parties, Indonesia advocates for the application of the principle of common but
a differentiated responsibility or CBDR, which emphasized that developed countries should take greater responsibility for climate change mitigation. This approach helps Indonesia secure technical and financial support from developed nations. That's all for me. Thank you.
In conclusion, the path to achieving these targets is fraught with challenges, particularly in the context of shifting political priorities. The recent transition from President Joko Widodo to Prabowo Subianto raises concerns about potential regression in climate commitments due to Prabowo ties to traditional energy sectors and skepticism towards international climate agreements. The shift may lead to a prioritization of immediate economic gains over long-term sustainability, threatening the progress made under Jokowi's administration, which emphasized renewable energy and community engagement in climate initiatives. The effectiveness of Indonesia's NDC will depend on maintaining momentum in climate action amidst these political changes, ensuring that environmental considerations remain at the forefront of national policy discussion. To navigate these complexities, Indonesia must foster collaboration across various sectors and engage stakeholders at all levels, including local communities, industries representatives, and international partners. By promoting innovative policies that align economic growth with environmental sustainability, such as investment in renewable energy technologies and carbon capture initiatives, Indonesia can create new economic opportunities while fulfilling its climate commitments. The ongoing dialogue between economic development and climate action serve as critical framework for Indonesia's future, emphasizing that robust climate policies are essential for meeting international obligations and securing a sustainable future for its citizens and increasingly volatile global environment.